I think this brings me to one of the most asked questions जो किसी भी बी स्कूल इंटरव्यू में पूछा जाता है. Does marketing leads to sales or sales leads to marketing? What is your take on it?
Why don't the other gentlemen for this time start? I'll come back.
Yeah, sure,
I have my answers also.
See, I think sales is very important in your career at some point of time, even if you want to be a good marketer. Because sales is where you actually get in touch with the consumer right at the ground level, understand his core insights. So even a marketer does a lot of market research. He goes to consumers, he asks all those questions and how do you use it, how you don't use it, how is this product different from the other product. With sales, you get a first-hand insight of that. So if you want to be a good marketer, at some point of your career, you need to do sales. Now, whether sales lead to marketing or marketing leads to sales, I think my previous analogy also which I drew is that you need to find your passion. If you like something, if you're going to do that for a longer part of your career, you're going to be more productive. And people are going to be able to appreciate what you're doing and you will be able to add value in these 10 to 12 hours of work which you do. So I think that any good marketer needs to get into sales, and that's what conventional B schools also, or conventional companies who come to B schools put the guys into sales initially and then get them to a brand or a marketing role. So that's how the journey has always been. Right. So that's my 2 minutes on this.
Yeah, so very quickly, I think, I kind of fully agree with what Aniket said. You have to, do your hands dirty, first of all, which means that, you have to be out in market, experience that what goes on in mind of a consumer by actually being very close to them, right? So it can't be that, you are straight out of MBA college and then you've been made to sit in an AC office and then you're imagining, hypothesizing every time, you are selling a product or building a product proposition that this is how my consumers will think. Well, you do all market research, but if you've done by yourself, I think that adds a lot of value. What comes first, what comes after? I don't know if there's a definitive answer to this. Like there will be people who would want to do marketing first because they want to get deep into research, propositioning, and then, want to understand finances and brand management. And then, also want to have an experience of sales. But if you can build a strong career without doing both, I would doubt. Right. So I think, sales, marketing, operations, I think this is like combined makes you a good professional. And, there is no perfect sequence to it. But if you to ask me, I would agree with Aniket. Like, you do sales first, like, early in your career, while you have a lot of passion to, go out in market, stand in hot sun, and then, meeting consumers and then going to distributor points and then, waiting there for 3 hours before your turn comes in because there are like 10 more companies queuing up there. That requires a different level of energy, right? So if you do it early in your career, I think even better, and then follow it up with marketing.
Got it.
No, I think both the wise gentlemen have given you the answers right fairly well. But before kind of getting into in my head, what does marketing do? Marketing is essentially generating awareness and interest for the product. Yeah. That's primarily the job of marketing. If you ask theoretically, in olden days, people will say that marketing comes first, then comes sales because sales is converting, right? You get the consumer into the shop. अगर आपके पास एक दुकान है, राइट, दुकान में आप मोबाइल फोन बेच रहे हो, तो पहले तो लोगों को पता होना चाहिए कि आपके पास मोबाइल फोन है और मोबाइल फोन के लिए आप आओ दुकान में. तो मार्केटिंग का काम होता था इन ओल्डन डेज कि बताए कि दुकान खुल गया, आप दुकान में आओ, आपको हर एक किस्म की मोबाइल फोन मिलेगी. दैट्स द प्राइमरी जॉब इन ओल्डन डेज ऑफ मार्केटिंग. एंड देन आफ्टर आप आ गए, देन वो सेल्समैन खड़ा होता था, वो बोलेगा ये मोबाइल में ये फीचर है, ये देखिए इतना प्राइस है, और फिर कन्वर्ट करता था. दैट्स हाउ आई थिंक इन माय हेड यू डिफरेंशिएट marketing and sales, right? But I think things have changed of late because a lot of information actually at the sales counter gets passed on to create interest levels. So what I'm only trying to say here is that if the same example of the mobile that I was trying to give, if the consumer is not buying the product, you have told the consumer, come to my shop to buy mobile because I have all varieties of mobile phones which has great camera, right? And the example which Aniket was giving, that today probably consumers are not looking at camera and they are looking at the processor speed, say for example. And you have kind of gotten the consumer saying that camera ke liye aa jao, camera, and then the salesman is trying to sell camera. The consumer is saying, boss, I don't need camera, I need a faster processor. Now this information has to flow back to marketing. Right? For marketing to then change the communication and then get in a new set of consumers who would come and convert. So I think it's a very symbiotic, the example that I was trying to give you, it's a very symbiotic relationship between sales and marketing. It's not about who scores over other. right? It's a symbiotic relationship. End of the day, if sales don't happen, marketing will also have a tough time because revenues won't come in, right? So I think it's more fairly symbiotic in nature. As far as careers are concerned, you can start off with sales, move into marketing, and marketing. You can start off with marketing, move into sales. Generally, I agree with what he was saying, that in your younger days, because the energy levels are
high.
significantly higher, start off with sales and then possibly move into marketing, which is a little more analytical driven, understanding data and then communicating to the consumer and figuring out ways to kind of get interest levels and awareness up. So I think that's my 2 cents in how you should look at these two functions.
I think